Hey there, and welcome back to the deep dive. Sometimes you find a piece of tech, and it doesn't just feel like it's following the crowd. It feels intentional, like it
Oh,
was made for someone specific, maybe even for a specific passion.
it's true. There's so much sameness out there. Finding something that, clearly picks its battles, focuses on certain things, it's actually quite refreshing. Tells a story.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing today. You shared this really detailed review of the Sony Xperia 1D7 flagship phone, and, well, our mission here is to unpack the key stuff from that source. The insights, the unique bits, the whole experience, really.
Yeah, we're going to try and help you cut through all the specs and marketing noise, get a quick grasp on what makes this one tick, and maybe figure out if it's the right phone for you, based just on what this review is saying, of course.
Think of it like your cheat sheet. We'll pull out the important bits, maybe some surprising details, connect the dots for you so you feel properly informed without getting, bogged down. Okay, let's jump in.
Let's do it. So, right off the bat, the review mentions this phone makes a statement just with its design.
It does. And that color they mentioned, orchid purple, that sounded interesting. Sort of distinct, but not shouting about it.
Described as subtle, yeah, but distinctive. A deep lilac. And apparently it has this neat trick where it shifts color a bit depending on the light. Cool or warm tones. Definitely not your standard black slab.
And the whole vibe is very minimalist.
Yeah.
Clean lines, flat surfaces, very deliberate looking.
Absolutely. A refined industrial look. And, for a phone with a big 6.5-inch screen, the review says the dimensions 165 by 71 by 8.2 millimeter, about 180 grams, make it feel surprisingly slim and, well, light for its size. Still got that solid heft, though.
Okay, that's good. Big screen without feeling like a brick. And what about those flat, squared-off edges? Some people prefer curves.
Right, the review acknowledges that. But it makes the point that those flat sides actually help with grip, less likely to slip, maybe. Plus, you get the usual reassurance, IP6568 water, and dust resistance. Always nice to have.
Okay, so premium feel, intentional look, decent durability. Now, Sony. Their visuals, right. Cinema. So that display must be a big part of the story.
Oh, absolutely. It's a 6.5-inch OLED, naturally. Deep blacks, punchy colors, all that good stuff. But the real talking point is the aspect ratio. 21.9 cinema-wide.
21.9.
Yeah.
Right? That's taller and narrower than most phones, isn't it? Like movie screen shaped.
Exactly. The review says it's perfect for watching actual widescreen movies. Fills the whole screen. No black bars top and bottom. Much more immersive, supposedly.
Okay. A mini cinema screen you can hold. Makes sense. But what about just, scrolling Twitter or reading websites? Does it feel weird then?
The review used the phrase pleasantly different. Because it's taller, scrolling feels more like reading down a long list, or like a bookmark was the analogy. Sounds like maybe a slight adjustment, but not a bad one.
And the screen quality itself sounds top-notch. FHD plus resolution, what's that, 2520 by 1080, sharp enough, and 120 hertz refresh rate.
Yeah, 120 hertz. So everything just flows. Scrolling, swiping, any movement on screen looks super smooth, feels really responsive. Plus HDR support for better contrast and richer colors. Accurate colors, too, the review stresses. Not crazy oversaturated.
Accuracy is good, especially if they're pushing that cinema angle.
Yeah.
And using it outdoors. Bright sunlight.
No problem, apparently.
Yeah.
Strong peak brightness. You can actually read it in direct sun.
Yeah.
So yeah, the display sounds like a major highlight.
A really unique, high-quality screen. Okay, but great screen needs great performance. What's driving this thing, according to the review?
Flagship internals, Qualcomm, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, or, whatever the top chip is at launch. At least 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs storage to start. The usual powerful stuff.
Right, plenty of horsepower. And does it feel fast in everyday use?
The review says, yeah, absolutely. Handles multitasking, heavy games, even those Sony Pro creative apps without really breaking a sweat. Sounds like a smooth operator across the board.
And the software. Sony's Android skin can sometimes be a bit distinct.
This time, the review paints it quite positively. Clean, uncluttered, very close to stock Android 15. Sony adds its bits, like those pro camera and audio apps, but they're useful additions, not bloatware.
The Cinema Pro, Photo Pro apps.
Yeah.
For manual controls.
Exactly. So you get a fluid, near-stock experience with some powerful tools layered on top if you want them.
Yeah.
No unnecessary clutter.
Sounds good. Any downsides on the software front mentioned?
Just the update promise. The review notes it's at least 2 major Android versions and 3 years of security patches, which is okay. It's mid-pack. Some competitors are offering quite a bit longer support these days.
Fair point. Not bad, but not leading the pack on software longevity. Okay, let's talk battery. 5,000 milliamp. The review called it an unsung hero.
Why?
Well, because despite powering that big, bright, fast screen and the powerful chip, the review says it consistently gets you through a full day of heavy use, often more, like maybe a day and a half with moderate use. That kind of reliable endurance isn't always flashy, hence unsung. A full heavy day is definitely good going for a modern flagship. Charging. How quick does it top up?
It's got 30W wire charging. The review called it competent, balanced, gets you about half full in 30 minutes. It's not the absolute fastest out there. Some are much quicker, but it's decent. And there's 15W wireless too. Slower, obviously, but handy for overnight charging.
Okay, solid performance, clean software, good battery. Makes sense. Now the cameras. Sony's alpha camera division is huge. Does that expertise show up here?
It seems like it, yeah. The review talks about that synergy. The focus seems to be on quality and versatility across the board, not just chasing massive megapixel numbers on one sensor. It's a triple lens setup, all 12 megapixels.
All 12 megapixels.
Interesting.
Primary, ultra-wide, and a telephoto.
Yep. Primary has advanced autofocus dual photodiode AF, they call it. The ultra-wide gives you a really wide 124-degree view, and the telephoto offers up to 3x optical zoom.
Going with 12 MP across the board is different. Most are pushing 50, 100 megapixels now. Does the review say if it holds its own?
Seems so. The idea might be consistency. In good light, the photos are described as detailed, great dynamic range, crisp, minimal distortion on the ultra-wide, sharp results from the telephoto at 3x zoom. So quality across the system rather than one standout star sensor, maybe?
And there was something specific pulled from the alpha cameras, IAF.
Ah, yeah, real-time IAF for humans and animals. That's a staple on their mirrorless cameras. It tracks the subject's eyes super accurately for sharp focus, even if they move. Having that on a phone is pretty cool, especially for portraits or grabbing shots of pets.
That does sound genuinely useful. How does it cope when the lights go down? Low light performance.
Described as solid. It uses a night mode, like most phones, that stacks multiple frames together to cut down noise and boost detail. The review suggests it might be a touch slower to process than some competitors, but the results look natural, not overly brightened or artificial.
And video, especially with that cinema-style screen.
Yeah, it leans into that. 4K HDR video recording at 24, 30, or 60 FPS. And crucially, you get those manual controls in the Cinema Pro app. Lots of creative freedom for video shooters, ties it all together.
Okay, visuals covered. Let's switch to audio, because this feels like where the Xperia really stands apart from almost everything else in the flagship space.
It really does. The absolute killer feature, highlighted prominently in the review, is the 3.5mm audio jack.
The headphone jack. I honestly thought they were gone for good on high-end phones.
Mostly are, but Sony's keeping it alive. And it's not just a token inclusion. The review mentions it supports high-res audio, and importantly, has a dedicated DAC.
A DA, explain that bit.
Digital to analog converter. Basically, a special chip just for turning your digital music files into the signal your headphones can actually use. A good dedicated one, like this phone apparently has, generally means cleaner, more detailed, warmer sound than just using the main processor chip for audio.
Right, so if you have decent wired headphones, this is a big deal. What if you're wireless, though?
Still covered. It supports LDAC, which is Sony's own high-quality Bluetooth codec. With compatible headphones, you can get near lossless, high-res audio wirelessly too. So best of both worlds for audiophiles.
And the phone's own speakers.
Front-facing stereo speakers. The review says they're decent enough volume and clarity for watching videos or casual listening.
And wasn't there some weird quirk mentioned about audio output?
Oh yeah, this was interesting. Apparently, you can output audio from the headphone jack and the USB-C port at the same time. Niche. Yes. Unique. Definitely. Could be useful for someone somewhere.
Huh. That is unusual. And DSC Ultimate, that upscaling thing.
Right. If you're listening to lower quality stuff like standard Spotify streams or old MP3s, DSC Ultimate uses AI to try and upscale it, make it sound closer to high-resolution quality. Another nod to the audio fans.
Wow. They really seem to have thought about the audio experience from every angle for a certain type of user. Okay, quick wrap-up on connectivity and the other bits. Dual SIM.
Yep, hybrid tray. So 2 nano SIMs, or 1 SIM and a microSD card. Up to 1 terabyte of extra storage, which is another thing disappearing from many flagships.
Storage expansion's always good. Network stuff, all modern.
Looks like it. Full 5G, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, NFC for payments. Oh, and it can act as a remote for Sony Broadcast TVs using NFC. Neat touch if you're in that ecosystem, plus all the usual location services.
And security. How do you unlock it?
fingerprint sensor on the side, built into the power button. Review says it's quick and reliable, even with slightly damp fingers. There's face unlock too, using the front camera, but noted as less secure than fancier 3D systems.
Okay, wow, we've really pulled this apart based on that review source. Design, screen, performance, battery, cameras, and that huge focus on audio. So what's the big takeaway? The verdict from the review?
The core message seems to be, this Xperia 1 VII isn't trying to win by having the absolute highest number on every single spec sheet. It's deliberately focusing its efforts on perfecting its core strengths, that unique screen, the versatile camera tools, the amazing audio features, and that premium design.
That orchid purple adds the personality. Android is clean, it feels good,
Yeah,
polished.
exactly. The review really positions it as a fantastic choice, but specifically for certain people. You know, the movie buffs who will love that 21.9 screen.
The audiophiles who desperately want that headphone jack and Hz support.
And the photo-video creators who value having manual controls and flexibility over just point-and-shoot simplicity.
And the review is honest about the trade-offs, right? It's not cheap, charging isn't the fastest, software support is good but not the best.
Right, but the conclusion's pretty clear. If you are one of those target users, if those specific features, the display, the audio, the creative tools are what matter most to you, then this phone apparently nails it. Ticks almost every box and then some. It has a sort of quiet confidence.
Polished execution was the phrase used, suggesting that for the right person, the cost is justified because it delivers on those passion points in a way other phones don't. One of the most rounded flagships, but rounded for a specific profile.
Which, based on this review, really shows Sony making very conscious choices, doesn't it? Keeping the headphone jack, sticking with 21.9, pushing those pro apps. It's all aimed at particular users.
And that leaves you with a thought, maybe. Seeing a phone like this find its niche, focusing so heavily on passions like cinema or audio, does it suggest maybe the era of one best phone for everyone is kind of fading? Perhaps the future is more about manufacturers crafting devices really tuned for specific interests, something to mull over as you think about what you really want from a phone.